We are live. SB Talk Sports, Sean Webb, Real Takes Over Fake Debates. Happy Monday. Happy National Championship game day. UConn versus Purdue. Right before, look, we ain't going to hold y'all long. We all know everybody's ready to watch the game today, so we going to knock out this show. But before I get to asking Sean, how is he doing on this Monday? Shout out to the sponsor of the show, Swift Energy. Go to swiftenergy.gg. Use code RTOFD to get 20% off your order. Sean, how are you doing on this Monday?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. How you doing?
Chilling good, man. I'm ready for the game. I had a blast this weekend. The women's national championship game was fire. WrestleMania, I like the wrestling. I'm sorry, it was fire. One of the best WrestleManias to see a lot of OGs. I definitely gonna talk about that later in the show. Undertaker, Rock, and all them came back. So besides that, man, the regular stuff with the basketball stuff going on too. It's been a great sports weekend, so I've been enjoying it. Honestly, me. What about you?
Oh, it was a good weekend, man. Great Final Four games, men's and women's. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the undefeated champs, South Carolina, here in a second. But yeah, definitely a very good sports weekend, and so yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. But let's go ahead and get right into it. We ain't gonna even hold the people short. So obviously, as Sean said, South Carolina gets revenge on Caitlin Clark and Iowa, wins third women's national championship, and also in the season. Let's talk about this, Sean. Went undefeated. 38-0. 38-0. That is outstanding, and I believe that's the 10th women's team. Quote me if I'm wrong, tell me in the chat, but I believe off the top of my head, they should be around the 9th or 10th team to ever do this all the time.
10th.
Yep, 10th. So you're right on ahead. We gotta start talking about this university different, especially that women class of basketball. Because what Staley has been doing with this team, she's putting herself, when it comes to women coach, in that conversation, honestly. And to beat the player that everybody look as this one of the great players that ever played at college during this time, to beat her in the finals, and then to come back after losing. And also, I want to shout out the young lady, Miss Johnson, Miss Raven Johnson. So last year, she was a liability to the team. She couldn't shoot. So everybody, if you don't know who Raven Johnson is, I'm gonna put a light bulb in your head right now. Last year, Iowa played South Carolina. She was the girl getting waved off at the 3-point line and was a liability to the team. You know what she did this year? And she admitted, she said a lot of people would have quit if they went through what I went through. They slandered her, saying that she was the reason why they lost. And it probably could have been true. She worked on her 3-point shot. And then also, Shaw, you know what she did? She took the assignment of Caitlin Clark and put her on lockdown. It wasn't no Caitlin Clark show. It wasn't no 40-point threes. I'm picking you up full court. It's highlights from the game. She ripping Caitlin Clark, taking her cookies. Lockdown. She said, you know what? If I was a liability last year, this year I'm the one that's going to take us to the next level. And she did. Shout out Raven Johnson. That's what you do. You don't fall on your butt. You get up and improve and be better. Shout out her. She was the MVP of that game for me personally because of for the improvement on her jump shots and the defense that she played. Outstanding. But Sean, what you got?
So first of all, if you watch the game, and I watched the game obviously start to finish, in the first quarter, they let Caitlin kind of was cooking. She had 18 in the first quarter or whatever. But then they put Raven Johnson on her. And it was MSNBC's lock up, lock down, lock to the side. When Caitlin went to the bathroom, she was right there in the stall with her. Like it was real.
Did you wipe? No. I'm just checking on
you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was like that. She knew what Caitlin had for breakfast. She could smell her breath. She was in her like that. And what Raven did, to your point, SB, compared to the last year to this year, she was the anti-Ben Simmons. She didn't moan. She didn't groan. She was like, nope, I got to go get better. She went and got better. That team got better. And the crazy part is again, they went 73-1 the last 2 seasons combined. 73-1.
Good God.
The one game they lost, they're screaming how she was a liability.
Yep.
And she, she did the Jordan. I took it personally, and she put in the work. So shout out to her. Cabela, shout out to her.
She's a truth teller.
Their freshman came in stroking like it was like they were not afraid of the moment. And and it was a reminder that a great team will always trump the individual.
Oh, 100%. All the time.
And that's
team sport.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's a team sport, and they were locked in. Pat Riley has a saying: "No rebounds, no rings." They had 21 plus 21 rebound advantage yesterday, led by Cabela, who had 17 rebounds. Yeah, and again, you got to. And Don Staley even said it. You could tell they scouted Iowa well, and understood how Iowa wanted to play, but the main thing was they came in with a game plan, and they took those punches early. When they got down 10-0, they could have hung their head and said, "Oh Lord, here we go again." They didn't. They fought. They showed resiliency, and that to me is embodies who their coach is, and that's what they do. That team played with their coach's DNA all the way through the season, but yesterday especially.
No, Sean, you hit that on 100% on the head, because Staley's gonna have you ready, and she literally improved them from top to bottom. I never seen a team where like you said, she went 70. Say it again one time. 77 and one in the last two.
They went 73-1.
73-1, right? And she came into this year like they was the underdogs. They played every game ready to prepare for war, ready to fight. They gave every team their own game plan. It's one of their toughest games. The game that I watched, obviously, I didn't watch all 34 games, but the Tennessee game with the game winner, that was a good game. They was tested during that game. And then they come off that game improving better, making off their mistakes. And that's just pure off her coaching alone. And you gotta give her credit as a coach that she takes. They don't look at other teams and be like, "Oh, we South Carolina." I never had a moment. And if y'all watch more South Carolina's with best by me, please let me know. But since every game I have watched, I have never seen her team look down on the opponents and wasn't prepared to play. They play everybody like they was the better team all the time, all the time. And that's just her as a coach. That's just a coach preparing her team, getting them ready for war every time.
Yep.
So, Sean, the next thing, obviously, we got to talk about the other side. Caitlin Clark. Obviously, we know she's probably guaranteed the number one pick going to the next level. And sometimes, Sean, when you get all this attention, you have a target on your back. And we can talk about how great and accomplished that Caitlin Clark was, but it's already WNBA players who don't like Caitlin Clark. Diana Taurasi already was quoted in her quote. She was talking about how pretty much she gonna have to prove that she's that person to Caitlin Clark, because the women in her league play professional players, play against professional players. She did that against 18-year-olds. Can she do it against grown women? So obviously the WNBA can have a manner, which that's gonna be my second point that I want to talk to you about too, about can you promote these stars? But let's get to square one first. Caitlin Clark is gonna have to prepare and be good. And I hope everybody don't think, whoever watching, Caitlin Clark is not gonna be Caitlin Clark in college day one in the WNBA. It's impossible. It takes time. LeBron James wasn't LeBron James his first day in the NBA. Michael Jordan was the Jordan that y'all know the first day in the NBA. You got to get her time to develop. But also with her having that target on her back, she's going to have to be mentally prepared to play against them every night, because everybody's going to be gunning for her, because they know the attention that she's going to bring, the way she's going to be having sellout games, especially go to Indiana, Iowa. They'll make that drive to go see her. They'll make that drive to go see her. So do you think, because the WNBA want Caitlin Clark to come right in and dominate, that's good for the league, good for promotion. But the reality of the fact is that's not going to be the case. Do you think you should have a matter of concern for Caitlin Clark going into the WNBA, because it's going to be so much attention on her to be good, and then if she don't look good as they think she is, you don't worry about the bus thing coming on her?
I mean, yeah, I think we throw the bus label out way too early on in people's career. To your point, as you said, she's gonna need time to develop and adjust to the game. when Cheryl Swoops said a few months ago that she won't come in the league and do what she's doing. It's a different league. It's a different game. And you had these idiot Iowa fans that were like, "Oh, Cheryl don't know what she's talking about." Like, this woman is in the GOAT conversation. All right,
conversation.
She's in the GOAT conversation, right?
Yes,
Nia Taurasi is in the GOAT conversation. Breonna Stewart in the GOAT conversation. You know, so when we talk about some of the best women's players ever, when they say this and they're all saying the same thing, there's clearly some truth to it. There's clearly some truth to it.
And they didn't come in the league and be as dominant as from day one either.
Yeah, well, so, and I will say it was different when the league was first starting because you had a lot more veterans in the league because most of them had been playing professionally for a while before the W started. It took a while before college became the crop or the supplier of talent into the WNBA.
Yeah.
So I think that there's anybody who's expecting her to come in and dominate from like that from day one. No, it's not going to happen, right? We saw what happened when you get physical with her, and trust me, she's not going to get the whistle she got in college. And I was getting the last two games because they got some very, very favorable whistles, if we're being honest.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
They're not getting. She's not getting that in the WNBA, right? There's no Uncle Ruckus refereeing in the WNBA. You know, shout out to the Boondocks. If you remember the episode where Riley was playing ball, you know what I'm talking about. You remember Uncle Ruckus, what he said to Riley, his team, they got ready to play Sidney McPherson. You know,
I'm not in your foolishness today, Sean. It's National Championship Day. I'm not in your foolishness today.
Just Google it. But no, in all seriousness, no. Yeah, she's not. She's gonna need some time to adjust, and
she gotta get stronger too.
And they're going to, you know, you saw what Raven Johnson did against her. Raven Johnson's only about 5'8", and she was physical. She used her strength. She got up in her. That's what teams are going to do. That's what these guys are going to do. Ladies are going to do to her when she gets to the next level. And can we just, while we're on this, I know we're not going to be on all night, but can we please stop with the everybody hates Caitlin Clark? Nobody hates Caitlin Clark.
No.
What people hate, what people have come to hate, is all of the attention that she's gotten that were not given to women who didn't look like her, who were as good or better than her.
Yep. Like Paige Beckers, like which two NBA legends said they like Paige over there. And people forget Paige was one of the best players in college. Why Caitlin Clark was there until she got hurt.
And if you don't remember when Paige Beckers got her ESPY, go back and watch her ESPY speech, what she said. She basically said, you know, we need to give more attention to these women, particularly these Black women who have paved the way and are doing their thing in this sport as well, right? So, you know, and if you don't know about Paige Beckers' background, she has a very interesting family dynamic in her background. I'm not going to get into that right now. My point is,
do your research.
Right. You know, there's an understanding that she has, and she's willing to admit as much. I don't know if Caitlin is like that. I'm not saying Caitlin is or isn't. I'm saying that the attention that she's getting is way over the top in comparison to the attention that the other women who were, again, as good, if not better than her, were getting. Right. So it's not hate for Caitlin. No. It's hate for the attention or the lack thereof for women that have played this game for a very long time at a very high level.
Okay, people don't, and like you said, people are disrespecting Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops is one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT, depending on who you ask it. You questioning legends. Like, I know we got into this stem of, and which I will tip my head to more of the women legends commentators, because they kind of keep it more basketball than we do as the man, because we go off a little too much there. That's just my opinion, because every time I hear the women talk about it, honestly, they give basketball reasons of why they say it, what they saying. Like Diana Taurasi said, she's going against grown women, which is acknowledging the fact that the women in the league are going to be stronger. You doing that against people who are 18 years old. They're not. Kayla Clark don't even got her full woman strength yet. Because she gonna have to still develop that a little bit more. Like she probably getting close because she stayed in college longer, but she still got to fully develop and get her own strength.
Right.
Like compared to the men legends that we have, like Shaq. I love Shaq. Sometimes Shaq don't be saying nothing. I love Charles Barkley. He's hilarious. 9 times out of 10 don't be saying nothing. It's just the truth of the matter. Sometimes we just have that in our sport because narratives became the thing because LeBron Jones. But our side is a little bit different. And it comes with the popularity, obviously.
Right.
But now we're looking at these legends talk about these up-and-coming women, but also in the league where these legends came from, their league is not doing as well. So you do need improvement. But so you do need these young faces to actually come in the league, these group of stars, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clarks, Boston, Camboza, Paige, just to name a few. They took women college sports to the next level, and you hoping they can do the same thing for the WNBA. So even with that being said, of that, it's going to be harder for them. Can you or do you trust the WNBA enough to actually take advantage of these stars? Because women's college basketball showed that you could do it. This last championship game was the most viewed basketball game ever, 18.7 million. So it's possible to get people to view them. But Sean, honestly, do you trust the WNBA to actually take advantage of this star talent that's coming in the league these next couple years? Because it's not just this year. You got at least 3-4 years of stars coming in. Juju Watkins is in her freshman year. You got stars coming for the next 3-4 years. Do you trust them? Honestly.
I mean, I want them to prove me wrong, but of course I say no, I don't.
That's true.
And again, one of the problems with WNBA is the season is so finite. It's only about 3.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, because obviously it falls in between, the end of the NBA season and the beginning of the NBA season. But their big thing is, how do you take the wave and continue to ride it? Right. I'm not a surfer. But one thing about surfing is you got to know how to ride the wave.
Yes, sir.
And the WNBA has not yet figured out how to ride the wave from women's college basketball into the league. And also, I always like to remind people too, the NBA didn't have marketing figured out early on either. It really took them about 35 years to figure out how to market the league. And that was, again, part of it was having David Stern, who was in the league office, come in and take over as commissioner. He understood, okay, you know what? Here's how we market the league, but how we build and how we put more into marketing, these teams and these players. The WNBA's got to figure it out as well as they approach 30 years in business.
And then, and this is another thing too, Sean. I'm glad you said what you said, because I'm older than the WNBA. It takes time. I think they looking at like, okay, and this is what I hate when they do this too. And we're gonna move on to the next one too, because I want to hop right too long. But I hate when the WNBA players be like, we just want to do what the man doing. We want to get paid what the man doing. Like, trust me, you get paid more than if you go back and look at what the NBA year 30 was. I think WNBA players getting paid more, and you getting more media attention too, because the NBA year 30 wasn't hit like that. Trust me, it takes time, brother. But I want them to like stop. I know y'all call it WNBA, but separate anything that y'all have to do with the NBA. Try to make y'allself y'all own entity, y'all own thing. This is what y'all do. Stop comparing. I think once they get to that point, you see a skyrocket. But this is the next 10 years is the make or break for the WNBA. If they don't figure out within the next 10 years, it's over with. It's done.
Yeah,
they're over done. But speaking of other college dudes, Sean's favorite coach, Coach K, has left Kentucky and signed a 5-year deal with Arkansas. Are you shocked?
Yes and no. Shocked that he would leave Kentucky for Arkansas.
Okay.
Because it's really a step down. maybe 2 steps, and that's no slight to Arkansas at all, but it's really 2 steps down. We consider Kentucky a blue blood, right? Along with North Carolina, along with UCLA, Kansas, UConn. So most people don't leave the schools that we consider to be blue bloods and go to a non-blue blood. And the fact that was why it's a bit shocking. But also, Coach Cal is I don't even like calling him Coach Cal. I like calling him Recruiter Cal. Recruiter Cal is a bit of a fraud, if we're being honest, right? He can recruit his tail off.
Yeah.
He has never been able to build a sustained winner, which is the ultimate thing around coaching and recruiting in college.
Yeah.
And I think the bottom line is Arkansas, they needed a shot in the arm for their program. So good for them. But it's very, very surprising you go from that job to Arkansas, like I said, you don't go from Sprite to Starry. Sprite is Sprite, Starry is Starry. Starry might be cool, but it ain't Sprite.
I mean, it tastes the same though, right? A little bit different recipe though.
I don't know. I don't drink, I don't drink that stuff. But point is you generally don't go from the top to top. You don't work for Ray and then go work for Decon. Like at the end of the day, I'm just saying that's the way it is.
But I'm thinking that like Arkansas assigned him because of that. They wanted that one and done. They want the stars to come there because so pretty much, Sean, I call it recruiter. I call it recruit. Coach K, man. I can't call him that, man.
Recruiter Cal. Call him Recruiter Cal.
Recruiter Cal. Arkansas want that. They want more star players to come in their program. So I think he got the opportunity for that. And I think Coach K, Recruiter Cal, he knows that he can go anywhere and recruit somebody. Same way he left Memphis to go to Kentucky. He think he can do the same thing. And it's gonna be the same thing in Arkansas. He gonna get the star players to come play for him. And either he gonna lose in the first round or he might get that one championship out there every like 15 years or every 20 years if he gonna play and coach that long or recruit that long in your turn. But I would say I'm more shocked. I wasn't shocked that he got left Kentucky, but I'll definitely say that I'm shocked that he took Arkansas. But sometimes money talks, and maybe he liked those off the wall, middle of the country, middle of nowhere college schools, because maybe that's what he do to get people to recruit. Though that's what he do to get a recruit. Maybe that's what he do.
I mean, one way to make sure you still have some value in the market is to break up with somebody before they dump you.
That's true.
Right. I think they were getting ready to dump Cal. I think they were tired of Recruiter Cal. And they know he's a fraud, right? They know it. So they were tired of him. They were ready to move on. So the best thing to do rather than, get fired or get dumped is to say, you know what, I'm going to break up. I'm going to go and be somebody else, Now, again, this school may not be as fine as you, but at least I know.
With me.
They going to be with me, because me and you wasn't working out for the last few years for whatever reason. So, that's really what happened.
So, Sean, the seat is still open. And we looked at other people. You had a theory or you had somewhere you think Kentucky should shake the whole college basketball world up. Who is the favorite to get the job or who you think should get the job?
The favorite right now is Scott Drew from Baylor. Obviously, so whether or not he wants to leave Baylor, I mean, again, Kentucky's a blue blood. It's going to be a hot job, and it's one of the few college basketball jobs where you're actually at a school that puts college basketball first in the South, in particular.
Because everybody else is football only. Football first. Now,
basketball might be 1A or 1B, but football is definitely 1A. So Kentucky, we know that's not the case. Basketball is 1A in Kentucky. But Scott Drew is the favorite. Excuse me. So we'll see. But the person I believe Kentucky should be calling is Dawn Staley.
That'd be crazy. That'll shake the whole game up, but I don't see her leaving. But why?
Again, I think if you just look in the last few years, has there been a better college basketball coach than Dawn Staley in the last 5 years?
Basketball wise, no.
3 national titles. I think they've only lost 9 games in the last 5 years.
1 game in the last 2.
Yeah, 1 game in the last 2.
Hey, yeah.
Clearly she's respected. So if I were Kentucky, I would be calling Dawn Staley. Now, are they going to? Highly doubt it.
No, they doubt it.
If I were Kentucky, I would be calling Dawn Staley.
I would, but that would have that'll shake the market up. But I just don't see. If I'm Kentucky, I'm making that call. I don't see her leaving though.
I don't see her leaving.
I don't see her leaving.
But that's it. I've seen people leave jobs and be like, we just saw Cal leave Kentucky. And again, he went to what we consider to be a lesser institution from a basketball perspective.
But because he feel like he's one of the greater recruiters, he feel like he's gonna bring that value there. Because all you gotta do get 2 or 3 5-star recruits, have a nice little year, and that's your value right there. Because your value come from that.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Recruiter Cal will recruit. Recruiter Cal will recruit. So yeah, we know that. But go ahead.
You're crazy, man. Okay, so on to the next one. The Naismith Hall of Fame announced 13 inductees for the class of 2024. Who led down this class? Vince Carter, Mr. Big Shot Billups, Cooper, Simone Augustus, Jerry West again for the 3rd time. Shout out Jerry West again. Herb Simmons, Doug Collins, Bo Ryans, Walter Davis, Charles Smith, Dick Burnett, Harley Redden, and Michelle Timms. Michelle Timms or Mitchell Timms? I don't know.
Michelle Timms.
Okay, that's Michelle Timms. Okay. That is the Hall of Fame class. Sean, what do you have to say about this Hall of Fame class right here?
Well, I mean, listen, it's a great class. Obviously, when you look at, obviously Vince and the career he had, represent Central Florida all day, every day. So, appreciate that. I did had a chance to play against Vince coming up. So
wait, you actually played against him?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that probably was ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's he was obviously younger, but a lot of people don't know about Vince. His dad actually started Midnight Basketball in Central Florida.
What's Midnight Basketball?
So Midnight Basketball basically was basically to keep kids off the streets. They would have gyms open up until midnight, and you could go at like 9-10 o'clock and you could get runs.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah. So it was basically like a to keep down violence and kids from getting involved in drugs and whatever, blah blah blah. And so his dad started that program for Central Florida. So he was there quite a bit. And again, at this point he's like 13, 14, 15. He's but in high school, because he went to Mainland, that's when he kind of was like, okay, yeah, this guy is like
the truth,
like legit. So, yeah, but
was he dunking at 13? I know he had to be. He probably was, wouldn't it? That's ridiculous, dog.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous, dog.
Yeah,
At 13.
He was crazy athletic even back then. But also he was kind of Well, I won't get into that. But anyway, so yeah, I won't put all his business out there, but no, Vince and obviously Chauncey, Simone Augustus, again, one of the best women's players ever. Michelle Timms, same thing. Jerry West, to be real, is there anybody who's had a better basketball life than Jerry West? Maybe Pat Riley might be the only one I would say probably has had a better basketball life post career. But if you include playing career, and all that stuff, yeah, no one think anybody's had a better basketball life than Jerry West.
With everything Jerry West have done basketball wise, I know we argue for like Jordan, Kobe. I don't want to hear it no more. Jerry West is the logo for a reason. He didn't even want to be the logo. The NBA just spiritually knew he was going to put in where Jerry West has put in work as one of the best players on the court. He has put in the work as one of the best players off the court. He done created dynasties. And he'd have been a part of teams that could have been dynasties. Because obviously, he only won one, but he been in a multiple finals. How they look at this stuff nowadays, because winning don't matter. Well, if that's the case, he's been a part of multiple dynasties there on both sides. Jerry West is the truth. Like, you got inducted in the Hall of Fame 3 times for three different things. That's ridiculous, Sean. That's ridiculous. 3 different times. Come on now. I can't say too much about him. But for me, also this Hall of Fame class, you are brought up Vince. Of course, I like Mr. Big Shot, but the one that I was happy about was Mr. Michael Cooper.
Yes.
I was so happy about Michael Cooper getting there, because if you are a part of a dynasty and you are one of the key value players, put him every other championship team they did it. Why? What's the difference, Michael Cooper? They already said Draymond Green the Hall of Famer. And Draymond Green the Hall of Fame, Michael Cooper should have been in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what took them so long. They can't say every class was just over deep and like he couldn't get him in there. So that's the one that I'm happy that Mr. Cooper got in. That was
And I think what's interesting about Michael Cooper is he wasn't a guy who ever made an all-star team. But he was obviously defensive player of the year, 8-time all defensive team, and an integral part to, when people think about those Laker championship teams in the 80s, there's 3 guys that were on all of those teams: Magic, Kareem, and Michael Cooper. And so, and so it wasn't about numbers. It wasn't about crazy stats, but you knew his value defensively. He was, he could start, but he was a 6 man. He was a super, super important part of those teams. And again, to me, his induction, I think, makes a greater argument for someone else who will be eligible in the next few years, which is Andre Iguodala. So, so I think, that's the other part, but shout out to all the Hall of Famers. It's a big, big moment, and look forward to the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies and hearing their speeches.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear. I definitely want to hear Michael Cooper, of course, VCs, of course. I don't want to hear VCs. But I can't wait to listen to that one. Speaking of, since we go NBA, and people gotta also remember when everybody get to complaining about why certain players in and not, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, not just the NBA. It's to count everything you've done. But Sean, the NBA season is going to a close. I know we have been talking about awards lately, but I really want to get into real quick. Who is your favorite and who is your dark horse for each conference? I want to pull up the standings too for man. But Sean, who you got? Who is your favorite in the West, favorite in the East, and who's your dark horse in the West and your dark horse in the East?
My favorite in the West are the defending champs. Obviously Denver.
Yeah.
Definitely Denver. If I had to pick a dark horse team in the West, I don't really have one, but if you put a gun to my head and say you got to pick one, I'm gonna say the Clippers. I'm gonna say the Clippers.
The Clippers is dangerous.
I'm gonna say the Clippers.
If healthy,
Clippers team shows up, but I think if they're healthy, and they're clicking, they can be a very, very dangerous team in the West.
Okay, what you got about the East?
In the East, there's no other favorite than the Boston Celtics.
We got no dark horse, no Milwaukee.
No, I don't have a dark horse. I do have a dark horse. It's not Milwaukee. I do have a dark horse. It's not Milwaukee. Okay. My dark horse in the East, don't laugh, is actually Philly. And I'll tell you why.
I'll say, wow.
This will be the first year that Tyrese Maxey will have the ball in his hands consistently in the playoffs. If you watch the last couple of years, especially with Harden, he would have the ball in his hands at moments, but he was really kind of playing off of Harden. And now he's got the ball in his hands. And when Maxey's going, I've said this, and this is no disrespect, but I think Maxey is Ja Morant without the hops. When he gets in the end, he gets in the paint. He is tough. And he makes them go. I've kind of taken. He reminds me of Sonic the Hedgehog. When he's going.
He's gone. He's a blur.
Good luck. And if they can get, and again, this is all dependent upon Embiid's health. Because I think if Embiid is relatively healthy and playing relatively well, they got some really interesting pieces around them. You know, Kelly Oubre, who I think a lot of teams missed out on signing, can be really big in the playoffs. Batum as well. So they got some interesting pieces, and I think they had the best coach they've had in some time in Nick Nurse, who we know is playoff proven and obviously won a championship. So Philly will be my dark horse in the East. But what about you?
Nuggets obviously is the favorites in the West. It's no question. It's the Nuggets. The crazy part about this is, and I feel like it's not fair to call this team a dark horse because they're the number one seed, but nobody got them making it to the finals. I got the Minnesota Timberwolves as a dark horse. Even though they got the number one seed, I just feel that they got all the pieces to match up with any team. They got the bigs, they got the wings, they got the guard play, they got versatile bigs who can shoot, they got the guards who can defend. And it's like if I'm like, it can't be a number one seed, I'll probably go the Mavericks, but I'm telling you, the Minnesota Timberwolves, if the Minnesota Timberwolves was to shock the world, beat the Nuggets, and make the finals, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. For the East, I'm going to go Boston. Jason Tatum in Boston. I think that's obvious. And if Julius Randle, and I know everybody want to say how Julius Randle played in the playoffs. If Julius Randle did not get hurt, the New York Knicks would have been my dark horse. And they still could be a dark horse. I'm sorry, Sean. Even though I know I ain't looking.
It's your dark horse. I mean,
I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to say this, Sean. It's the Chicago not playing. Now, all jokes aside, I'm sorry. I know y'all not playing as good. Miami Heat go always be a dark horse for me in the playoffs. I'm sorry. Y'all literally be like dreading the water and turn a different switch on, because if Boston don't want to play y'all first round, if y'all was the AC, I wouldn't want to play y'all first. Milwaukee definitely wouldn't want to play y'all first. And the Magic a little bit too young. I would have picked the Magic, but I don't trust their experience. Miami Heat is a dark horse, 100%. It'll happen again. I've seen it once. I've seen it twice. I've seen them dismantle this Boston Celtics team before. Porzingis only got signed to beat y'all. Porzingis didn't get signed to beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Porzingis didn't get signed to beat the Knicks or the 76ers. Porzingis got signed because they couldn't stop that Miami Heat zone and Eric Spoelstra defensive schemes during the playoffs. And Jimmy Butler took off. Everybody give Jimmy credit, which Jimmy was balling. And I'm going to give Jimmy his credit that he was balling. But it was Spo defensive schemes, and then Jimmy would come down, knock down a shot, or he was putting offense and put Jimmy in his spots to get him going. So my dark horse, even though y'all are AFC right now, Miami Heat.
I mean, listen, I don't ever count us out.
I ain't never gonna do it.
I don't do that. Again, no team has played more playoff games in the last 4 seasons than the Miami Heat. So I never count the Heat out.
Y'all got y'all same core.
For the most part. Again, I think what will be interesting about the Heat, and again, it's not a Heat podcast, But the one thing I will say is, a lot of it will come down to, how Jimmy's playing, but also, Tyler Hero, is he settling back in? He's been coming off the bench. Personally, I hope he continues to come off the bench because I think he gives the bench a big boost in terms of the scoring production coming in. So, yeah, I think, we'll see. But yeah.
We got to play the We'll See game on that. Oh, to the next one. Sean, Memphis Grizzlies. Former Memphis Grizzlies player has just got his jersey hung up in the Raptors. Number 33 is retired for the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm cool that Marc Gasol is getting his jersey retired. Yes. But Sean, I'm thinking it's starting to get a little watered down where they giving it to everybody. Hey, we was on a good version of this team. We didn't do nothing, but this was like the good version of this team in this years. Like, I want to see, like, I can't even say that because I can see it happen. I'm going to say, like, Kirk Heinrich or Dwayne Day getting their jersey retired.
Happening.
It might. Captain Kirk.
If Dennis Rodman jersey is not retired, they definitely ain't getting their jerseys retired.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
Man, Dennis should get his jersey retired.
He should.
But then they're gonna ask why Horace Grant jersey every time. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is it getting to the point where it's getting watered down? Like everybody, it's like Oprah out there. You get your jersey retired. You get your jersey retired. You get your jersey retired.
Yeah, no, I think it really depends on the franchise, SB. A lot of times, we'll answer that in a second, of course. Blue Boat, shout out. No, I think at the end of the day, it's about how you represent the organization as much as what you did on the floor. And when you really think about just the Grizzlies starting in Vancouver, moving to Memphis, and really forging their identity. Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph, Tony Allen, and Mike Conley, those are the four guys who really embody what their identity is, which is that grit and grind.
I mean, that's true though.
So they've obviously retired Tony Allen's jersey, they retired Zebo's jersey, and Marc Gasol, is gonna be a Hall of Fame candidate, whether people will recognize it or not. Defensive Player of the Year, has won a ring with Toronto. But and then obviously when you factor in his international play as well with Spain, he's going to be a Hall of Fame candidate.
Yeah,
could be the first Hall of Famer in Grizzlies history in terms of someone who spent a good majority of their career with the Grizzlies. Because obviously Vince played for the Grizzlies, as well. So
Gasol not in the Hall of Fame yet?
No, he's retired. He's just retired, so he's not. He gave you out 4 years before you're eligible. Powell is, but not Marc. So
that's what I'm saying. Powell been out 4 years. Powell not a Hall of Famer?
No, Powell's a Hall of Famer. But what I'm saying is Marc is going to be likely in that Hall of Fame conversation as well.
Because how many years Powell played for the Grizzlies? I'm thinking about it.
He was there like 8 years. Like 8 years.
Even though he had an impact like Marc in them, but I feel like
but I mean, if you were ranking the best players in Grizzlies history, you probably would have Pau Gasol right there near the top, if not at the top. So
Zebo won though.
I mean, again, it depends. It depends. Yeah. So.
Right. Wait. Blue Ball had a question. My fault. Salute SB and Sean. Are the Bucks cooked? Yeah, when they got a guy that's the doctor as they coach, and he ain't the doctor, and he ain't no coach either. So they're cooked.
I saw there are 2 games under 500 since Doc took over.
Yeah.
They're 15 and 17 since Doc took over. Everybody saying, "Oh, they playing, they doing all this different stuff, blah blah blah." They really not. Have they been a little more accountable defensively? Sure, but that's about it.
They cooked.
So are they cooked? Yes, but I never thought the Doc move was gonna do anything for them this season. To me, it's going in the next season as he can build out a staff, goes into training camp with what he wants and what he sees that team needs to do. That's when we'll judge the Bucks. But for me, I think the Bucks season will go down as an incomplete because they made the coaching change when they did.
Is he gonna make it to next season?
I ain't got no choice. They're already paying 2 coaches plus him.
Well, that's why the Bucks organization.
So yeah,
they got that one and got greedy. On to the next one, Sean. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson said he's on a mission to enter his second season. And I agree. I hope you enter a mission to realize that you need to stop running with reckless abandon. This ain't college no more, brother. You need the reps out there. You need them reps. How do you feel about Anthony Richardson? I think instantly he needs to stop running with reckless abandon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you look at the season that CJ Stroud has had, among rookie quarterbacks, Richardson got hurt. His, again, more of an incomplete. Excuse me, but when you just look at the other team in the division, he should be on a mission. And if we're being honest, Texans Colts games should be primetime games for the next 10 years because of these 2 quarterbacks and the dynamic way they can play. But Richardson's got to stay on the field for that to happen, and obviously continue to develop and to continue to grow. So we'll see what happens with them. But right now, all eyes are on Houston in that division, as it should be.
Yeah, no, 100%. I within the last 2 to 3 years, I would say I never expect to say it's about 2024. I'll be like, man, the Colts versus the Texans is a must-watch game. Or man, the Texans, you got to turn the Texans on. This is a must-watch game. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
but yeah, I hope he's on the wrong mission. Oh, to the next one. Yeah. We gotta make it to the game, Sean. We gotta make it to man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Get it bad, bro. I'm like, bro, with the work, gotta make it through the game. But that's championship game. We're gonna make it through. Why are MLB injuries on the rise? Imagine the season just started. And one of the clauses they are complaining about the problem is the pitch clock change. And they feel like it's hurting pitchers from getting hurt, Sean. What do you think the real reason why injuries is high so early?
I think it's a couple things. Obviously guys are throwing harder than ever before. You got guys hitting 100 miles an hour,
easily.
And that can wear on your arm. And you don't just have guys doing it at the MLB level. You got 16-year-olds who are clocking in almost at that. And again, having the UCL, the Tommy John surgery, very young, wearing out those ligaments in your arm like that. So I think it's quite a few reasons. I know there have been some studies done by Johns Hopkins around the pitch clock and the injuries. There's no correlation between the pitch clock and the injuries. I think it's just the wear and tear on the arms, again, starting at a very young age and coming into the majors. There's very few, I don't know how much you know about Nolan Ryan, but Nolan Ryan was like a freak of nature. This was a guy who pitched well into his mid-40s and was still, killing you at that age. But he's the exception. So I know, again, the MLBPA tried to say the pitch clock was the issue. Guys aren't getting a chance to rest their arms in between pitches long enough or whatever. But again, no proof that that's the real issue at all. So
who said the pitch clock wasn't a problem last year? Why they complain about it now? Because the people were getting hurt last year. That's true though.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you gotta have a pitch clock because you gotta speed the games up. I work stadiums on the media team for like the camera or in the studio doing like the stuff for the scoreboard stuff and doing like the baseball game, because baseball game has no time limit. The game can start at 7. You could possibly leave at 9. You could possibly leave at 8. You might leave at 10, 11, midnight. That's the only thing about so you got to kind of speed the game up to compete because you want to get that young audience. I just think it's part of the season. There's people just getting hurt. You can't tell me oh yeah, everybody just getting hurt because of the pitch clock. No.
And they did make one change to the pitch clock, right? One slight tweak. They dropped it from 20 seconds to 18 seconds when there's runners on base.
Okay.
So again, that 2-second difference, again, no actual proof. Again, according to the studies, that's the issue. I think it just comes down to quite a few things. But again, I think what is going to have to start with SB, in my opinion, is going to have to start at the younger level, and making sure you're not wearing these young men, these kids' arms out
before they get up to the majors.
Before they get up to the majors, and I know one big thing with a lot of young pitchers was they didn't want young pitchers throwing breaking balls, a lot of breaking balls, because of the torque and the wear and tear on the arm at a very young age. A 12-year-old shouldn't be throwing a bunch of breaking balls. So I think it's a combination of things, but I do think the focus has to start at the younger level, as again, you got younger guys coming into the league and in pitching, at a very young age.
Imagine throwing a bunch of breaking balls at 12 years old, 80 mile per hour breaking ball is crazy. But yeah, the season just started, guys. Yeah, I know we all hate that people get hurt, but it happens. On to the next one. So, Sean, obviously, I know if you did watch it, cool, but I doubt you probably did. WrestleMania 40 was this weekend. This is probably one of the best WrestleManias from back in the old days. Cody Rhodes, who is Dusty Rhodes' son. I know you know who Dusty is. Dusty Rhodes. Legend. Dusty Rhodes' son. He got a son named Cody. I got to explain it to you. He got a son named Cody. So Cody had left. He wasn't really as good as WWE. So Cody had left and started wrestling independently and to build himself back up. He built himself back up so good that he started another wrestling company called AEW, but he ended up leaving AEW and coming back here. When Dusty was here and he failed, Dusty even told hey, maybe son, you might just need to just call it one, just retire. He told Cody that. And Dusty was here. All the stars now, that's like even the women's, Dusty built them up and helped them build up. So whole Cody Rhodes come back to the WWE story was like, I want to come back and win the one title my dad never got, the WWE title that he felt it was stolen from his dad. And he wanted to come and prove that, I was really that good of a star. So that's been going on for the past 2 years. They done whooping his butt. Then you got Roman, who's like in the Rock family. The Rock family tree run everything. So it was a big, gigantic brawl going crazy. This was probably one of the best WrestleManias we've seen all time. The Rock obviously was back. He'd been back for a while because they put him in part of the storyline because that was him and his cousins. Undertaker came back. John Cena came back. It was fire. Triple H now runs it, not Vince McMahon. So it's like very creative. One of the best shows I've seen in a while, at a long time. If you ain't even watched wrestling in a minute, Sean, I wish you could have probably enjoyed it and watched it. It was one of the best WrestleManias I've seen. Give it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, a 10 out of 10 with the ending. So it was great. I highly enjoyed it. It brought back that nostalgia feel of wrestling. Glad that Cody won, but the finish could have been better. Yeah, it was like the Avengers Endgame because the dude who was the Rock cousin named Roman, he was the champion since August 2020. So he had the belt for almost 4 years. So it was like a running thing to stop him. So he had the belt for 1,000 days. But I 100% enjoyed WrestleMania. It was fire. 10 out of 10. So we got to get Sean to watch WrestleMania, y'all. We gonna get Sean to watch wrestling. If anything, I get you WrestleMania. I can't get you any other day. But WrestleMania is like a big thing. I'm gonna get Sean to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. We go look, y'all. Look at the camera. We gonna get Sean to watch WrestleMania. We gonna get Sean to get. We gonna get him. All right, before we end the show, I want to give predictions because obviously we're finna go watch the game. This is 30 minutes before the game start. UConn versus Purdue. Real quick, Sean, who you got?
UConn.
I got UConn
easily. Yeah. I will say this though. If Purdue, if Purdue can slow the game down and be very deliberate with their possessions and turn it into just a half court game, it can be a close game. But if Purdue gets out on the run and they get to moving and grooving, it's gonna be a long night for Purdue.
It's certain. Shout out Purdue for making it this far, but it's certain programs when they in certain situations you don't doubt. I'm not gonna doubt UConn.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna doubt UConn. I can't do it. What you say? UConn because for a former Bull Ben Gordon. Hey, look, I'm rocking with it. UConn is in my category of like schools that if I was going to leave Chicago, Michigan State and UConn is only two schools I always wanted to go to. But Sean, that is another great episode 66 of Real Takes Over Fake Debates. You said you had a player for 66, right?
Yes.
Who you got?
Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux. Oh, I like that. Mario Lemieux. I ain't look up a player for 66. I started to doubt these 60s. I like, man, like, bro, these numbers get wild. Mario Lemieux, I like that though. Mario Lemieux, I'm gonna take Mario Lemieux with you.
Yeah, Mr. Pittsburgh Penguin.
Mr. Pittsburgh Penguin. But appreciate you guys watching as always. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe. SB Talk Sports, Sean Webb. This has been another great episode of Real Takes Over Fake Debates. See you guys on Friday. And also, one last thing I want to let you guys be informed too. I know we do the videos of the Real Takes Over Fake Debate clips, but also be looking out that sometimes we're going to be and Sean just might drop a regular video at the moment of the day of, especially if like something real important happened. And if I can catch Sean when he's free, if I'm free, like, hey man, you want to make a video real quick, talk about it. We're going to start giving y'all videos on here. And also, we going to open the phone line up soon. So when guys are in the chat, we're going to work on getting the phone line. And we're going to get you guys in onto the podcast to come on and talk to your two favorite guys, SB and Sean. But
yeah, also real quick, don't forget, Thursday, April 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be on for a very special open live reaction to the NFL draft first round. So look forward to that. We're going to see what happens. It's going to be a good night. So we'll be on during the first round for a live reaction show for the NFL draft first round.
Marvin Harrison to the Chargers.
If that happens, met with Marvin Harrison today. Just FYI. So,
all right, man. Look, we even shut it down, Sean. You're not going to crush my dreams. You're not going to crush my dreams. You're not going to do it. But we got a backup. We got a backup just in case. But you're not going to crush my dreams. Yeah. We go get them. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. See you guys. On to the next one. Peace.